Hey guys, this is Nick with Med School Mastery. It's been a little while since we've done a video, so I wanted to do a follow-up on one of my most popular videos that I have up on the Med School Mastery channel on YouTube. So the video itself was answering the question of what are the medical schools that are easiest to get into. So I thought that it had a lot of people's interest, but nevertheless, it didn't give everyone sort of the full picture. So I answered that question very literally. So very literally speaking, there are schools that have higher rates of admission than other schools. And so in that video, I gave you the top 5 schools with the highest rates of percent acceptance of all their applicants. But really, practically for you, it's going to be a little bit different. So what you're really wondering when you're asking what are the easiest med schools to get in, you're not wondering, who has the highest percent acceptance, but rather who for you in particular will have the highest rate of acceptance. And that's a completely different question. So that's what I want to address with this video. So with this video, I have a couple main points. So first of all, it all depends where you're at, but this is really important. So one of the easiest med schools for you to get into would be a medical school that is already associated with your undergraduate school. So if you're an undergrad and you are at a school that has a medical school, that medical school likely has a decent chance of accepting you. Why is that? One major part of this would be the fact that there are so many connections that you can make with a medical school as a pre-med. So as a pre-med, you can begin research at the medical school there. You can start working under faculty, and then these faculty will later be able to write you letters of recommendation. That will give you a huge leg up if they're already associated with the medical school. So moving on to the second point would be if not a medical school already associated with your undergraduate institution, then the next highest rate of acceptance for you would be at your state schools. So when you're applying to medical school, I say this to all my pre-meds, you should apply to all of the medical schools in your state. That is because they are the ones that are most likely to accept you. It's partially because of just sort of regional, favorites that they have, and they trust and know your undergraduate schools. But it's also partially because some schools have quotas for in-state institutions where they need to meet those quotas and let in a certain number of people from that state. So that is something that is really important to take into consideration, not only because it will be your highest rate of acceptance, but also because you will have a good chance of going to a school that's cheaper for you, which your older self will really thank you for doing. So so those are 2 important points: a medical school that is associated with your undergraduate institution, or any of the medical schools in your state. And then finally, if you want to go somewhere that isn't associated with your undergraduate institution and that isn't associated with your state, you can start to become creative. Sure, you can look for lists like I presented before of schools with the highest rate of acceptance. In particular, you can look for schools that have a low average GPA or a low average MCAT score, and especially a school that has those things in combination with a lower rank would probably be easier for you to get in. But in addition, you should also strongly think about going to a DO school. So some people aren't even familiar with osteopathic medicine, but these programs are very legitimate. You become a real doctor. You can do just about anything in medicine, and yet those programs are easier for you to get into. So if you have a low GPA and you have a low MCAT score, you should strongly think about going DO, because you could still become a doctor, and really almost any kind of doctor, by going down that route, and those schools tend to be less competitive. Finally, one last thing I would say is that if you do have some school that you dream of going to, or some place, some geographic location that you dream of going to, you can start to build your application for that school. So this would be something that I would really encourage you to do, and start early. If you can start your freshman year, look at all the medical schools out there and say, you know, which one of these would really be a dream school for me. And then if you choose one, you choose a med school or a place, then you can start to work there, maybe do a research project there over your summers under somebody that's on faculty at that medical school. And then again, it would be almost like your home institution, like I was talking about before, where you can form those connections with mentors and people that will write your letters of recommendation that are associated with the institution that you want to go to. That will really give you a leg up and will increase your rate of acceptance. So I hope you found this to be helpful, and I hope you found this to be a little bit more of a real application of that other video. So stay tuned to medschoolmastery.com and our YouTube channel, subscribe, and we will keep pumping out good information for you. All right, take care.